Ashok Kantha, former ambassador of India to China, is joining us live. Sir, thanks very much. Understandably, there is a fair bit of euphoria in India. You know, a lot of headlines are saying that there's going to be a grand reset and Trump is going to be checkmated. Realistically, though, how much of this is going to affect Trump? What will the US president be thinking right now as we speak, looking at these pictures?
I don't think it will have any big impact on thinking of U.S. president. It's an important meeting, no doubt about it. We have taken forward the process of calibrated improvement of relations that commenced when Prime Minister met with President Xi in Kazan in October last year. There are further steps. There is signaling by both sides that we would like to accelerate that process. But there is still a number of problems that need to be addressed. For one thing, we have talked about India and China being developmental partners and not rivals. But if you look at the pattern of Chinese behavior in even recent months, in fact, what they did during Operation Sindoor, kind of operational support they provided to Pakistan, or the fact that they sought to leverage dependencies on imports from China in critical areas like fertilizers or rare earth magnets or tunnel boring machines, or fact that they are taking up this mega hydropower project, which is going to be 3 times the size of Three Gorges project, which is largest in the world at present, and the whole lot of other issues. So point is that we need to move towards better relations with China, no doubt about it. But talking about a reset in ties or any euphoria is not warranted, given facts of the relationship, objective realities of this relationship, which are something we cannot
Ambassador Kantha, we're just showing the picture of the 2 handshakes that took place today. When you talk about a gradual bettering of ties, just purely from the body language, from the kind of interaction that we've seen between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping today, you would agree that at least incremental steps are taking place in that direction? It may not be like the next big bhaichara, but things have improved.
No, absolutely. In fact, and that is desirable also. We must have incremental, improvement in relations, and that should be driven by the need for 2.8 billion people working together. We are largest, 2 of the most populous countries in the world. So there are pressing imperatives why we must work together. But this process need not be driven by anxieties relating to USA, because if, for instance, if we denied access to US market because there is 50% tariff on imports from India, Chinese market is not going to provide a substitute for that. Total exports to China last year were $18 billion, and in fact, exports are coming down over last 3-4 years. So we have to be realistic about it. Likewise, trying to develop a sort of common front, working with, say, China, or some people are talking about Russia, India, China construct. I don't think that's going to help. Because notwithstanding very serious problems we have with USA at this point of time, that remains a very important relationship for us, and we need to work to resolve those issues. And moving in a certain direction to compensate for deficit on US account, I don't think that's really a realistic option available to us.
Yes, and while there is optimism, one cannot have it with a fair bit of caution as well, which is why we are very realistic in the way we are evaluating these meetings that are taking place. But at the very least, Ambassador Kantha, you would agree that both sides are at least now going to use each other as a leverage against America. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes, I mean, one can see that if you see certain signals coming from China, like when Foreign Minister Wang Yi was in India, readouts from their side talked about India joining China to oppose unilateral bullying, which was a reference to USA. We have been less inclined to use that kind of rhetoric because that is not very helpful. But we are clearly interested in accelerating process of improvement to relations. And one signal which one saw is that the Prime Minister had a separate meeting with Mr. Tsai Chi. Now, he is a de facto chief of staff to President Xi. He is number 5 in the hierarchy of Communist Party of China. He is director of General Office of Central Committee of Communist Party of China, a very key person in party setup. But it's very unusual that Prime Minister had a meeting with him, separate meeting with him. That shows that both sides are clearly looking at faster movement on the problem.
In fact, that's the meeting. That's the meeting I was about to come to, because that just seemed really unusual for him to go and have a separate meeting with a political figure in the CCPA is a definite message. But I want to draw your attention, Ambassador, and my final question to you. We had Xi Jinping saying that the dragon and the elephant must come together. It's a great idea that they should be friends and they should advance each other's interests. But how much can the elephant trust the dragon when, one, you mentioned Operation Sindoor, they were giving Pakistan intelligence. 2, in May this year, China blocked India's request for UN sanctions on 5 Pakistan-based terrorists. And in addition to that, nobody has forgotten what they did to Rajnath Singh when Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, refused to sign on that draft agreement because Pahalgam wasn't even mentioned.
I must confess that I'm very uncomfortable with this language of elephant and dragon coming together to tango. Because that also reminds, first it's very unseemly, the whole visual of elephant and dragon, tango between them. More importantly, it reminds us of certain Hindi chini bye bye, kind of narrative which hasn't served us well. So let's be realistic about it. Let's be very objective in our assessment of facts. Let's seek, improved relations with China, but do so with the eyes wide open, not disregarding, issues you are referring to. So if we do that, there will be calibrated, gradual, step-by-step improvement of relations. A sort of overnight improvement, peace and harmony breaking out between India and China, that's very unlikely. And I don't think we should pursue that objective either.